My name's Phil Jackman and I lead on Cyber North, the Northeast Cybersecurity Cluster, developed by Dynamo Northeast and supported by Innovation Super Network at Accenture. We're recognised by DCMS and the National Cybersecurity Centre as representing the region. Each week, I get the opportunity to talk to people within the Northeast cybersecurity industry. Today, I'm delighted to be joined by Andy Pannell. Hi, Andy. How are you doing?
Morning, Phil. I'm good, thank you. How about yourself?
Yeah, very good, thank you. So can you start then about telling us a bit about yourself and your current role?
Sure. So, Andy Pannell, live in the northeast of England. Despite the accent, I've lived here for quite a lot of time. My current role is Principal Offensive Security Specialist, which basically means that I look at threats, whether they're internal or external, and we try and, as a team, emulate those threats. So we'll look at processes, people, technology, buildings, and we'll try and develop an attack which simulates what's going on in the real world, rather than a pen test, which can often be quite contrived. So it's a different way of attacking businesses, and in turn, hopefully improving their security posture as a result of the findings being fixed that we identify.
Okay, and so has the COVID pandemic affected your business at all?
A little bit. So we can't do the physical stuff, we can't do the on-site stuff. But weirdly busier than ever. It seems that a lot of people have kind of turned to cybersecurity. I guess that the remote working situation that kind of came out of nowhere and was obviously unexpected. I think that's made more businesses aware of an extended risk. They're kind of moving their network perimeter from buildings into people's homes, and there seems to be an enhanced cybersecurity awareness because of that, which I guess can only be a good thing.
So presumably you're working from home or some fantastic apartment.
Yeah, you can see a beautiful view up here in the northeast. Yeah, that's definitely a real background.
Absolutely, absolutely. So I think the first time that we met was down in Durham at Atom Bank's headquarters. I think you were still either working for Starling or just about to work for Atom. Is there something about finance with you, or is it just a coincidence?
A little bit of both. So I was a consultant for many years and just kind of did every kind of industry, transport, technology, manufacturing, healthcare, and finance. And then I got approached by Starling to work for them. Initially, I wasn't interested. I thought it was why would they want me? But then actually, both Starling and Atom, and more so Sage, are less. I don't want to say stuffy, but it's not the typical what you would expect of the city, especially Starling. I worked next to UBS, and everyone was, smartly dressed, and I walked to work in shorts and a t-shirt. And I think there's definitely attraction with fintech. It's probably where my heart is. So those kind of three companies are probably best described by fintech, and that's what really excites me: the fact that they're using technology as their main product, and actually the finance is a very small part of that. It's just that's 85% tech, 15% finance, and it pays well as well. So yeah, I can't complain with that.
Excellent. I'm glad I didn't put a tie on this morning. Quite a strong fintech cluster growing in the region of Sage and NBS, etc., etc. So cybersecurity is a very fast-moving market. You seem to be right at the cutting edge of it. How do you keep up with all the technology changes?
I think it's really difficult. Especially, there's a lot of imposter syndrome. So you think that, like you say, cybersecurity is such a massive thing. How can everyone know everything about every part of cybersecurity? So I try and read the news. I stay active in local, communities like OWASP, and just try and talk to as many people as I can, people like yourself, but then people you put me in touch with, all the meetings that you run, and just on Twitter as well, try and speak to as many people to try and retain that information as much as I can.
Yeah, the dreaded Twitter. I don't know how we find time for anything else, but that brings us nicely on to OWASP. I understand that you and Connor Carr lead the local branch. How did you get involved?
Yeah, so I've kind of been interested since OWASP since about 2010. I did a degree at Northumbria University, and OWASP was kind of introduced to me then. Did a little bit of work in my dissertation around OWASP and some of the securities that they're providing, and then started attending meetups and thought this is well run, but I'd like to contribute towards this a little bit more. I'd like to influence this and change things. So spoke to I think it was Mike, Connor, and Robin running it at the time, and said, hey, I'd like to be involved. And there was this weird informal thing about, okay, you can only have 3 chapter leaders, and Mike Goodwin was very good and stepped down and said, actually, I've got too much work and not enough time. I'd like to focus on his other project. And just from there, it's kind of grown from strength to strength. getting more and more people through the door. When we could meet up face to face, and now doing the online thing. So it's been quite nice to give back to the community. I think that's really important, that information should be free, and we should give that to people, especially in the security world where people are trying to sell flashy boxes all the time. OWASP is an open source project. Everything that we do is free, and available for reuse.
Excellent. So I gather Robin stepped down as well just recently.
That's right, yeah. So last month, end of September, start of October, he stepped down. We've now got Adam Pickering joining us from CGI. He's very keen, very enthusiastic, so I'm sure he's gonna help shape what's for the next few years. Robin's gonna go focus on his family, his work a little bit more, but he is still involved with ISC Squared and that chapter as well.
An ever-growing family, from what I gather. So what do you actually do, and why should he be a member?
So OWASP stands for the Open Web Application Security Project, and web is slightly misleading. We do mobile, we do IoT, we do APIs, we do all sorts of things. But essentially, it's about cybersecurity and securing the internet, however that may be accessed. It's our meetups are completely free. Normally, when it's face to face, we provide food and drink. Being a member is a small charge, but it does mean that we get a little bit of that as a chapter, which helps us run the meetups. The pizza and the rooms aren't free, so that's great. And it's also a great way for students and others to get involved in the cybersecurity community. There's no kind of judgment. Everyone's super friendly, and it's real technical. I think that's you can be from a non-technical background, and we do have non-technical talks. But I think the niche of OWASP is that it's really a lot of our talks are quite technical, and that's really, to me, anyway, that's really interesting.
Excellent. So CyberNorth, as you know, is working to position the Northeast as a great place to deliver cybersecurity services. You've been a great help. I mean, CyberFest 3 years ago that I first met you, but what more do you think is needed to help us grow this mission?
I think that the Northeast is kind of almost stands apart, like alone from everywhere else. You see, Manchester, Leeds have got like a big following. Sheffield's got a big following. The Southwest is starting to come up now quite a lot. The North is such a vast region, and it's spread out such a vast area. I think we just need to keep shouting about how great it is. People are starting to pay attention, and especially with this kind of the pandemic, where if I'm in London and I have to travel to DEF CON London or West London, I have to physically be there. Whereas now we've kind of got this platform of most things are online. I've got people joining from all over the world joining OWASP Newcastle for our online streams, and I think we just keep this momentum going, keep shouting, keep doing more. We're attracting the right kind of people, and I think we really need to retain the talent we've got in the region. One of the reasons why I left the Northeast 6 years ago now to work in London was because there wasn't any opportunities. So I think if we keep growing those opportunities, retain the skilled people we've got in the Northeast, I think we'll flourish.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think we need to continue to believe in ourselves and keep telling that good story. Okay, so there are a number of other technical groups you've mentioned, ISACA, ISC Squared. Do you work together, or are you really in competition?
I think it's a little bit of friendly competition. So OWASP, other than conferences like the AppSec EU conference that we do in AppSec USA, everything else is free. I know ISACA and IC Squared have certifications, and that's the way that they generate income that way. So, and you'll notice that if you go to any of these events, there's a commonality between the people that go to them. So, a lot of the people that go to OWASP will also go to ISACA or IC Squared, but then there is also the dedicated people that go to just to OWASP and the super techie focused people. So I think we blend and complement each other quite well. And I try and be a bit of a social butterfly and go to all three as much as I can, and your events as well. When I'm able to. Yeah.
Okay, excellent. So my last question, Andy, is these next few months are going to be really interesting, are they? What's your hopes in terms of the future?
So until about a week ago, I was hoping that the ICO would have a bit of teeth and would bite into BA. It looks like my hopes have been dashed slightly, somewhat given the reduction from almost £200 million to £20 million fine. I just hope that cybersecurity stays on the forefront of people's minds. That 20 million, given the pandemic, what's going on at the moment, the fact that BA aren't making a huge amount of money, I wouldn't like to see BA go under. I don't like any business go under on the guise of cybersecurity failures. But I would hope that it would make more people wake up and think actually these little things that were missed by BA form part of a bigger picture, and we really need to focus on cybersecurity. It needs to be a big part of any business, regardless if they're a charity, a non-profit. Because they're not necessarily looking to target a particular company. It may just be that they're trying car doors, as it were. And if your car door isn't locked as safely as the car next door, it's you that they're gonna invest in.
Yeah, it's not a victimless crime, is it? So,
Absolutely.
Okay, well, that's good. Thank you very much, then, Andy. I'd also like to thank you very much, Andy, for that. And I'd also like to thank Robert Campbell, who behind the scenes does all the technical stuff for me. He helps me set up these conversations. Look out for the next Now series, and if you're interested in taking part, please get in touch. Thanks once again, Andy.
Thanks, Phil. Great talking to you.
And you.